If there's just one thing that players might miss from the Shadowlands, it would probably be the various easy raw gold methods like the Covenant Callings, which has you doing 4 world quests for over 2,000 raw gold, the weekly Anima collection quests, which awards you with 1,600 gold, which you can actually still do, and of course the mission tables, which are great for all armies and even worked on your phone. Rest in peace, mission tables. But even so, easy raw gold methods do in fact make a return in Dragonflight, albeit they're a bit more obscure. And so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the methods that I found out about, very easy methods that don't require any farming, that can be easily done on multiple alts as well, especially since you can unlock the adventure mode just by having one max level character. And with that, first up, and probably the most lucrative one in terms of how easy and quick this method is, we have dragon riding world quests. These are unlocked by reaching renown level 7 with the Dragon Accord, and unlocks across all of your characters, even ones that are not yet max level, provided that you already have one max level character, right? In terms of gold making potential, doing each race really only takes about a minute, well if you exclude the traveling times and things like that, but you can really also knock them out while you're going about the Dragon Isles doing other tasks, for example. But anyway, the gold you can make from doing just one of these world quests, which is again running the entire circuit, or flying the circuit rather, is about 500 plus gold. And now take into account that 4 of these dragon riding quests actually spawn at the same time, one in each Dragon Isles zone, as you can see here on my map, and also the fact that world quests reset twice a week. You're looking at up to 8 races per week, which is about 4,000 gold if you multiply 500 by 8, and that's per character, right? Keeping in mind that you can also do this on non-max level alts. And so compared to previous expansions, this is actually a very low barrier to entry, right? Especially if you already have a bunch of level 60s left over from the Shadowlands, which you can literally just portal into Valdrakken through your capital city portal room, and then start knocking out these dragon riding races straight away, right? And now moving on to method number 2, and this one is also accessible to alts, and this is the War Supply Crates, which actually spawns very frequently and in each Dragon Isle zone, provided that you have War Mode on, right? And despite having to turn on War Mode for this, I found that you rarely have to do any PvP at all to be able to get these, as usually people just kind of ignore each other, or at least on my realm, these are mostly taken by my faction, the Horde, so it might depend on the realm, but I found these to also spawn frequently enough that you might be able to pick up another one if one is perhaps not accessible. But anyhow, the way this works is there will be a zone-wide announcement. You'll see it very clearly on your screen. It'll pop up that a war crate is spawning. That isn't the exact quote, but basically after the announcement, you can actually just open up your map to find where the war crate will land, and then just fly there, via dragon riding, and you'll be able to camp out. I'm a rogue, so it's a bit more safe for me, but usually, as you can see here, these are members of my faction, so I can just collect the crate safely. And within each crate, first of all, you'll notice that the raw gold at a glance is quite low, but fear not, because if you open up your inventory, there will be a coin purse that you can open up for about 250 gold. But not only that, at least currently, based on what the prices are, you'll also inevitably get these rousing ire that you'll be able to sell on the auction house, right? And I usually consider materials and commodities as raw gold nowadays with the region-wide auction house, right? Enabling these crafting materials and things like that to sell almost immediately. And as you can see, I got 4 rousing ires from this crate, which was worth about 140 plus gold each. So that's about 500 to 600 gold from the rousing ires alone, on top of the 250 gold raw that I got from the crate as well. And so that is about 800 gold based on current commodity prices per character, and this can be done daily. So this is actually more frequent than the aforementioned world quests, but it does require you to be out and about on the Dragon Isles, keeping an eye out for these crates to drop, which can very well happen as they do spawn very frequently as you're doing other quests, maybe even including the aforementioned dragon riding world quest. And on to method number 3. As you know, there are a variety of factions on the Dragon Isles and also events that are tied to them, usually weekly or bi-weekly events. And one of the most lucrative ones that I want to highlight here is the Rathian and Sibelian series of weekly quests. And essentially how this works is every week you'll be able to pledge your allegiance, of course, to Rathian Rathian or Sibelian, with the one you pledge to giving you 3 weekly quests and the other one giving you 1 weekly quest. Now some of these quests don't necessarily give gold, but the ones that do, and there are quite a few that do, will be up to 500 to 600 gold each. And these are not counting the weekly Obsidian Strongbox that you can get from turning in your keys that you can farm up from the Jarden, the mobs essentially surrounding the area, which you can usually pick up enough of completing these quests, right? And if we tally up the gold you can earn from some of these quests, using this week's quest as an example, as you just saw from my previous clip, I got about 800 gold from my weekly keys turn in. And beyond that, again, if this week's quests are any indication for the following weeks, there's one quest here that gives 600 gold and another one that gives over 500 gold, making this about almost 2,000 gold, or 1,800 to 2,000 gold just from Rathian's side. Again, if you pledge to one side, you'll still be able to get one weekly quest from the other. So as you can see here, I still have a 500 plus gold weekly quest from the Sibelian side, making the total here about 2,500 gold. Now, I wouldn't typically consider these types of quests as super quick, easy, or so-called no farm, but in this case, because there are so many groups that are farming keys and doing these quests and even getting rare spawns, you'll usually be able to pretty easily piggyback off of these groups to do these quests and also collect keys for your weekly turn-ins. And as for whether one can do this on non-max level alts, I haven't done them myself, but apparently there's a way to skip to where you can already pledge to Rathian or Sibelian and do these weekly quests by talking to a bronze dragon on the Obsidian Citadel to be able to skip the quest line essentially. Now as for the other weekly and sometimes bi-weekly events from the other major factions, including the Siege on Dragonbane Keep, the Iskaran Tuskar Feast, as well as the Maruk Centaur Hunts, none of these are particularly lucrative in terms of raw gold. However, they can still be good to do on a weekly basis, of course. If you want anything from the respective factions, like various perks, profession recipes even, gear, and also just working towards your weekly reputation for the weekly overall meta quests for earning reputation, right? Which in and of itself not only gives you lots of decent rewards including rep, but also a decent chunk of raw gold on top of that. And this can also be done on your alts, which don't have to be max level, although it does take a while to collect all the reputations, so I don't usually do this on that many alts. I usually am able to do like 1 or 2 characters per week. But anyhow, it's good to have in the background as to do the other activities and sort of progress them simultaneously, right? As you can see here, I just got about 1450 gold, which is not too shabby, and you can do this once per week per character. And now if we just do a quick tally of all the aforementioned raw gold methods, first of all we have the dragon riding world quest, which resets twice a week, right? Which comes out to about 4,000 gold per character per week, followed by the war mode crits. I'm actually going to be a bit conservative here because the rousing ires are likely going to be dropping in price. So let's say a character can earn 500 gold per day from these quests if you sell the rousing ires, which will be about 3,500 gold per week. And next we have the Rathian and Sibelian quest, which adds up to about 2,500 gold per week per character. And last but not least, we also have the Aiding the Accord weekly quest for collecting reputation, which is roughly 1,400 to 1,500 gold per week. So if a character does all of these tasks for the week, they should earn roughly 11,400 gold. Now, you can definitely prioritize different tasks, especially if you have multiple characters. For example, since the dragon riding world quests seem to be the most efficient compared to a lot of the other methods, you can definitely opt to prioritize those on multiple characters before you move on to some of the other methods, right? Or if you happen to come across, say, a war crate, you can just do those as they come. Now the video is not quite over just yet because there's yet one more bonus method for making pretty much raw gold, in the sense that you'll be earning commodities that you can again quickly sell on the region-wide auction house. And these are daily profession cooldowns, such as the ones from alchemy that I just demonstrated here. Although you can also do them on tailors as well as jewel crafters, though I would highly recommend doing alchemy and then probably prioritize tailoring as well over jewel crafting, as the jewel crafting cooldowns don't seem to be nearly as lucrative unless you spec significantly into like gem crafting and things like that. to complement that. But essentially, alchemy here is really easy to set up. You can first of all just level up your alchemy to around level 15 to be able to learn the first transmute, which is the one that I'm trying to do here, to transmute to awaken air. And there are other versions you can purchase straight off the auction house as well, which are currently fairly affordable. Now for a more detailed guide on alt armies and how to set up and optimize profession cooldowns and even other ways to make gold, be sure to check out the next video that'll be coming up right here and also linked in the description. Anyhow, these daily cooldowns are definitely excellent ways to supplement your even raw gold, especially if you don't have that much time on your hands and want something ultra efficient. And so I would highly recommend checking out the next video about alt armies. But as for this video, thank you so much for watching. That's pretty much all I want to cover for now. And be sure to also comment below if I missed anything or if you have anything to add, and I'll definitely reply to your comment. And with that, I will catch you in the next video. Peace.